everybody. Welcome to Adulting 101, brought to you by Wayland Baptist University. My name is Gary Gates. I'm a real estate agent with the Stacy Rogers Real Estate Group here in Lubbock, Texas. Today we're going to be kind of going over just the essentials of knowing between the benefits of buying versus renting your first place to live. So I myself, and I'm a Wayland alumni. I was alumni from 2003 to 2008. Went to Wayland, got my degree in exercise sports science with professional education, and then went on to Texas Tech to get my master's degree in sports management, and then taught and coached for several years here in Lubbock, and then decided that I wanted to jump into real estate because it's always been an interest of mine. And so what I'm going to talk to you guys today about is essentially just 5 tips about owning or renting your first property. I've got a couple of notes here, so don't let me get off the topic too much. But first 5 tips about renting and owning real estate is, number 1, buying is typically going to be better than renting depending on your current situation. There's a lot of things that go into that. But the biggest thing is you need to know your plan. Know how long that you are going to be staying at a current location. If you're going to be in a location for, say, 1 to 3 years and you don't see a future staying in a certain location, it's probably more beneficial, unless you're doing a flip property, but you've got a lot of cash that you can throw into something and you're not paying interest. Renting is probably going to be better, unless you're going to buy a house and rent out the rooms, and that is always an awesome choice. Number 2, right now we have historically low interest rates. Within the last 7 to 8 months, we've seen interest rates fall from 4.5% down to 2.5%. So essentially that is per $100,000, that gives you about $200 of buying power a month. So you could be renting a house or an apartment for $1,500, but you could get that same typical type build or house for, say, around $1,100 to $1,300. Outside of taking those low interest rates, there's a lot of education that you need to have, and a lot of research that you need to do as a consumer. The biggest thing that you need to do is find trusted sources. Find a trusted real estate agent that knows the market, a trusted property manager that is going to be open and honest with you about getting you into the right property and how they're going to maintain the property. And then the biggest thing is always be upfront and find a good quality lender. The lender is the most important part of this process. Once you have that, financials will tell you everything. Do not let anybody ever push you into something that you do not feel comfortable with or you are not prepared to do. $1,500 a month lease is completely different than a $1,500 a month mortgage. There's a lot of different penalties. If you buy, you can always sell and get out of a current situation. But once you're in a lease, they are very, very tough, and it's typically going to eat up a lot of your money. The next one, and probably the final thing that I would say, is understand the financial benefits between owning and renting. 2 years ago, there was a graphic going around that on a $250,000 house, which is going to be typically around $1,500 a month over the course of 30 years, you owning that property, you're going to be spending, if you pay it out for 30 years, you're going to have $450,000 that you paid into this property, versus renting that you're paying somebody else $450,000 if you paid that same amount. So would you rather essentially pay yourself that amount of money, $1,500 a month, or would you rather pay that into somebody else's pocket? And everything also is depending on what kind of market. Here in Lubbock in West Texas, buying is definitely the best way to go. If you're moving to a big city, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, New York, any of those items, the cost of living up there is super, super high. And so you would need to know the benefits and what you're capable of affording. And I guess the last thing that I will leave you guys with is, do not make yourself house broke way too early. I'm 35 years old. I bought my first house for $114,000, lived in it for 7 years, sold it, and made a pretty good little profit off of it. And I didn't do really anything to the property outside of painting. And having that equity growth is huge, or having that equity to roll over to another house is huge for helping you guys stay ahead. But if you're renting in a big city, it's probably the better option than buying. But if you're here in Lubbock locally, it's probably best to at least pursue your options as far as buying. If you need any more information, please reach out to me. My cell phone number is 806-781-6849. You can also email me at garygates@kw.com. Find me on social media. Reach out to Teresa or anybody at Wayland. They've got my contact information. Would love to help anybody that I can with that.